Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Joshua Samuel, the greatest of the greatest, the best of the best. And on the line with me, ladies and gentlemen, we have my good friend and good brother, Fran. How are you today, brother?
I'm doing pretty well. Better than last time.
Good,
I was a
man.
little
Good.
bit sick.
So now, Fran, you and I, we both took the opportunity to go out and see Aquaman, and to see it succeed as much as it has and is very impressive. And I'm sure many years ago people wouldn't have predicted that Aquaman will be as successful as it is. And starting this video out, brother Fran, there's a lot to talk about. What is single-handedly to you the best component of Aquaman as a movie?
I think that the visual effects and the cinematography, like
Mm,
the story, the plot is quite simple, but
mm,
the shots and the VFX quality that you had in that movie is fucking amazing. Like the Oscars thing is like James Wan said, it's a fucking disgrace. Like you're
yeah,
having visuals that you are in the movie and at no time you think, oh, this is done by a computer. Like,
right.
it's not real in your head, but you never feel like, oh, that's kind of getting me off of the movie because it's not realistic, it looks fake. Like, everything was spectacular. Like, there were some shots that were worth printing and putting in all over your room. Like,
Yeah,
it was amazing.
yeah, I agree. And I'm gonna be that guy. I'm petty. I like Black. I enjoy Black Panther as much as the next one. Shout out to Michael B. Jordan. But the fact that it's getting, and a lot of people have said this, the fact that it's getting nominated for effects, which I think that was the worst part of Black Panther as a movie, but Aquaman can't get a single nomination. That really bothers me. That really bothers me, and it's just a shame they aren't like you said, like James said, that they aren't getting recognized as they should. Moving on, brother friend, let me ask you this. If you had to pick between the two, would you choose Atlanta or Mara?
Well, I think that Mira, because she's like more powerful, it seems. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we don't see her like fight with a trident or anything like that, but the way that she manipulates water, that she makes even almost like blades from water, like in the wine scene,
Mm-hmm.
I think that
Mm-hmm.
she's like fucking overpowered. Like she could also do like the thing that she did in those previous visualizations, something like that, of Justice
Uh-huh.
League, like when she starts to dehydrate Steppenwolf, like she starts
Uh-huh.
to take the water of his body. So I think that that's like maximum overpower. Like you could take an
Yeah.
enemy, just put your hand over his head and kill him in 2 seconds if she wanted to.
Yeah.
Like yeah, I think, and the way she uses the waves in the battles to push away people and everything like that, it's fucking amazing.
Mm. Yeah. I really like Nicole Kidman as Atlanta, but Amber Heard definitely did let me ask you this, friend. What did you think about some of her it's interesting that you said that. What did you think about some of Mira's dialogue in the movie? 'Cause that's one thing I keep seeing get brought up and talked about is that they think Amber Heard was fine, but they didn't always like her dialogue. What's your take on that?
I mean, I didn't see anything like wrong with her dialogue. I mean,
Mhm.
but that was like the tone of the whole film. Like there was no extreme philosophical background to the movie. Like
That's
she said what she needed to say. She had some funny lines. Everyone
hmm
had some funny lines. She
hmm
had her character development, like Arthur did, and I don't see any problem with her dialogue really. Like, what's the complaint that she didn't say some metaphorical shit to Arthur. I mean, and she did like the line that is fucking amazing. That's the like the only time that I got chills in the cinema when she says the Atlantis has always had a king, now it needs something more. And
Uh huh.
then Jason Momoa comes out with that fucking amazing suit. Like that was
Hmm.
in the cinema. I was I mean in Spain we don't clap or anything or cheer or anything, and I was alone in the cinema clapping like, oh my god, that's my shit, bro. It was fucking amazing. Like I got chills all over my body when he came out with that suit and she said like a hero and
Yeah, that woof. That whole we're gonna definitely get to that. That whole third act, bro. That third act of that movie was tough in a good way. Moving on to the next question, brother Fran. Now I didn't expect him to play as big a role in the movie, but then when I saw the trailer in the summer of last year, I was like, well, maybe he will have a big role in the movie. Um, I really enjoyed Manta. Despite him not having as big a role, I think he still played his part in the movie enough, but he wasn't really a big what I consider a big part of the movie. And my question for you is, do you think he'll play a bigger role in the DCEU going forward?
yeah, I mean, if they finally confirm that they are going to make Aquaman 2, I think that he's gonna be like the main villain because of that
Mm-hmm.
fucking post credit scene,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that he got like the almost perfect time in Aquaman. Like
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't in a rush, but they didn't develop him as much as I wanted to. But that's because you have so many things to tell that you don't have time.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that he's gonna take a bigger role because there's like I mean there's a lot of villains to Aquaman, but having him survive now, he has like other motivations because he almost killed him and he killed his dad, and now he has someone helping him. I mean, improve his equipment and all, and everything like that. And I think that he's gonna be the main villain in the second one. What do you think?
I think, yeah, I do think he's gonna play a bigger role in Aquaman 2. And I know with that post credit scene from not from Aquaman, but from that movie that wasn't the movie that we were promised. I know with Lex saying something about a league of our own, with him and Deathstroke, to me that could easily lead to a Legion of Doom scenario somewhere down the line, whether that's in a future Justice League movie or them getting a movie of their own. I don't know, but I think that a Legion of Doom scenario could definitely happen somewhere down the line. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I was like, what in the cinema when we had like the post-credit scene of Manta in the ocean. The first
Mm-hmm.
thing I thought is like Jesse Eisenberg is gonna show up, like because
Mm-hmm.
everyone in the magazines and everything they talk about Legion and Doom and that he was going to appear in future movies and everything. And when I saw
Uh
this guy from the TV, I was like, yeah, like
huh.
everything was set up for Jesse Eisenberg to appear, and he wasn't there. So it was like, I mean, I'm happy that he survived and he's gonna be like the main villain in the second one. But I was
Uh huh.
expecting Lex Luthor to come out and say like, come out with Deathstroke and be like, let's go. We have others
Yeah.
to recruit.
Yeah. Yeah. And man, speaking of Deathstroke, I really hope we see more of him in the future. Moving on, and you kind of touched on, we both kind of touched on this earlier. Um, what is your take with James Wan's comments? In my opinion, he's 100% correct that it was a fucking disgrace about the visual effects not being recognized as they should have been, in my opinion.
Well, I think that he's perfectly right. Like, it's an stunning movie. They have done VFX things that they've never done before, like the hair in the underwater and the bubbles and all the ocean terrain. Like everything was so detailed. Like every piece of little plant put on every rock that you saw in the movie. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and that was surpassed by Ant-Man and the Wasp and Black Panther. I mean, you can say Black Panther has some like pretty lame CGI shots, but
Hmm.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, like the color palette was fucking cement color palette, and it was all plain, and the only VFX that was like pretty amazing was the Quantum Realm, but
Hmm.
you can't compare like 20 minutes of Quantum Realm with 2 hours and 20 minutes of pure spectacle. Like
Exactly.
it was everything in Aquaman was to be printed and put on walls in a museum. Like the trench scene where the camera looks like it's floating, like it's
Yes.
going down and you see the level of the water.
Hmm.
How can Ant-Man and the Wasp win, be nominated to an VFX award more than only that shot? Like that shot is better than all the VFX in Ant-Man and the Wasp. And I'm sorry, but that's the fucking truth. And
Yeah.
everything is happening because of the fucking mouse that is taking over everything.
Yeah. 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 That's
Like the company that chooses the nominees, it's owned by Disney. Like it's
yeah.
like a third company group or something like that that is owned by Disney.
Yeah, and they own the fucking critics too. But that's another video that I feel we need the whole gang on. Moving on, brother friend. Let me ask you this, and honestly, this is something that has really been on my mind in both a good and somewhat of a concerning way. Now, I'm very happy to see that the movie is well on its way to becoming the highest grossing DC film. But at the same time, I'm admittedly cautious going forward, especially when talking about, the shift in tone, or, them playing it safe, blah, blah, blah. And that question for you is, how big of an impact do you think Aquaman's $1 billion success will have on the DCU going forward?
I mean, I think that they've kind of learned their lesson, like kind of, not really, but I think that with this success, they're gonna have directors have more creative freedom,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean the change of tone. Yeah, I think that they're gonna change the tone, but it it didn't seem like such an Marvel movie. Like Aquaman had its jokes. There were a
Mm-hmm.
few. They were well put in. They didn't feel forced, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe they're gonna have like more jokes than the Snyder movies, but I don't see them going full Marvel because they saw that that doesn't work. And you can see like with Shazam, like Shazam is like a funny character because he's like a kid, so it's
Exactly.
understandable. But if you see the tone and the color palette in the movie, like his suit is getting darker, and
Mm-hmm.
there are some dark themes and funny things, but that I think that what they are gonna learn is that if you let a director do his movie, you're gonna get inevitably more money than if you interfere all the time. Like they have the living
Yeah.
proof of Justice League and Aquaman. Aquaman wasn't almost even touched by the studio, and it's gonna be like 1 million and $100 million or something like that. And Justice
Mm-hmm.
League was all no creativity, all director driven, and it made like 650 million. They have the living proof of let people do their work. Like you
Yeah.
are the one who makes and gives the money. You are not the one who
Yeah.
has read all the comics and studied film. You know.
Yeah. And something Mr. Wes Ashley it taught he went a little bit, admittedly a little bit harder on this topic than I admittedly would have, because Fran, certain fans from certain fan bases get real sensitive and real easily triggered when I say these type of things, that like the thing I'm about to say. If you look at Man of Steel, BVS, Aquaman, and Wonder Woman, to me, those films are better than a good portion of the other guys. And that's just my opinion.
And those
I'm
are the
probably going.
facts, man. It's not your
That
opinion.
And here's the thing, friend. I'm probably gonna get buried alive with down votes. Like what? Marvel did this, Marvel did that. Again, I like Marvel. I like Marvel. I like Daredevil on Netflix. I like Spider-Man: Homecoming. I like the first Iron Man. I like Infinity War. But it's just for some reason, bro. I don't know what it is. These DC movies hit me in a way that the other movies, aside from maybe some of the X-Men movies, I'll give them their due credit. Um, the other guys just don't typically do. If that makes any sense, you can what's your take on that, friend?
I think that you're right. Like the first thing that maybe most, I mean, all, yeah, I mean, there's some really good movies in the MCU, like Winter Soldier, Infinity War. I feel like it was like a
Yeah,
really good movie, but
yeah,
overall, you don't seem to have that quality of Man of Steel BBS. Like they are popcorn movies. Like most of the Marvel movies are popcorn movies, and
exactly.
you have the other movies that take it a step to more further, and
Hmm.
you get a level of quality that you don't usually get, because if you had that level of quality with 4 films a year, you will be good. But the thing is, it happens the same to me that happens to you, that the way BBS and Man of Steel inspired you and
Hmm.
get you goosebumps and the score and everything while you are watching it, there's no way, like
Yeah,
no other movie is gonna make you feel that way. Like maybe
yeah,
Infinity War, because of the whole score, cinematography, storyline, it made me like really excited. But for example, Winter Soldier was a really good movie, but
hmm,
it didn't even touch what BBS made me feel. Like
yeah,
there are different kind of emotions. Like it is a really good movie. It's a movie that you can watch and say this is a fucking great movie. But
exactly.
then there's the next step of the revolution in the genre of BBS and Man of Steel.
Hmm.
Like it happens the same as me as it happens to you. That most of them are not as good as BBS and Man of Steel, but the ones that are have like a different meaning. Like Infinity War is great, but it doesn't have that meaning. It doesn't have that perfect score, doesn't have that perfect storyline, doesn't have that perfect
Yeah.
character development. Like overall, Infinity War is a good movie, but what character development is there? Like Thanos is a Mad Titan, he ends up being a Mad Titan. The
Yeah,
Guardians of the Galaxy are funny, they still be funny.
yeah,
Like no one develops their character. Like Spearman is a kid and is still being a kid because he gets the suit from where he gets the suit. Like
yeah,
no one really evolves as a character. Like they get through things, but you don't see any character development or maturity in them. They are the same characters all over all the movies.
yeah.
Same
But yet,
principles, always the same. Like they can change their appearance, they can turn their hair blonde, but they are the same way
yeah,
overall.
yeah, and a lot of these things that you said and I just said, get us labeled as old, Snyder fanboys. Ha ha ha! Look at them. I don't care, bro. I just said like I said, I like Marvel. It's just I guess to sum it up, the DCU films, a great portion of them resonate with me in a way. Like I said, Man of Steel, BVS, Aquaman, Wonder Woman resonate with me in a way that, quite frankly, the other guys, aside from some of the X-Men films, because I will give them their credit as well, because they're not part of the MCU yet. Uh, they resonate with me in a way that the other guys simply just really don't, aside from a small portion. And I think that says a lot. And like I said, even now we're still talking about Man of Steel and BVS. But back to the topic of the video, um, was there anything you wish Aquaman would have done differently as a movie?
I think that differently they should have managed better the second act. Like
Mm,
the second act had some ups and downs. Like then,
mm-hmm.
like the movie was like really being really in a rush, and then it stopped, and you have a montage, and then you have like 10 seconds of Pitbull. That I was in the cinema when I went to see it in IMAX, and my brother stared at me like, "What's going in? Like, what is this shit? What's going on?"
Dang.
And then you get paused in the temple, and then you go to Sicily, and you get like a little beautiful montage, and then you
Mhm.
come back to action. I think that they could have managed that better, but the movie itself, what it wanted to say, they said it, and they said it
Mhm.
in an amazing way. So I will only change that. What would you change about it?
Uh, ooh, me personally, I think it did have some pacing problems, but like you, I think it overall it did what it needed to do, and I think the big thing I took from it is this guy is more than just a man who can. Aquaman is more than just a man who can talk to fish. You know what I'm saying? I think that's why I really appreciated the whole dynamic between Aquaman and Orm, and it almost reminded me, in a way, of, though again it's not quite the same. It almost kind of reminded me of the Superman Zod rivalry or whatever you want to call it. But aside from some pacing problems, and aside from some of the writing in the movie, because I'm one of the people, I'm like, yeah, did they really need to do this, or did they really need to say that, or did he or she really need to say that? Mostly she. Um, shout out to Amber Heard. Did she really need to say this? But again, like you said, overall, I think the movie did what it needed to do, and I can't call Aquaman a bad movie at all. I just can't call it a bad movie at all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's the thing with the writing is like it had some, like, not lame but lazy writing, like some things that they were like when they destroy the little ancient thing where they saw the king, and they go like, yeah, something trident, and you're like, I mean, it's not bad, but it's all like, if they cut it out, I wouldn't mind it. But then you have some fucking great dialogue, like the what I said earlier when he says like, Atlantis has always had a king, now he needs something more," and things like
Mm-hmm.
that are really good. So I think that it's obviously not a groundbreaking movie, but what the movie wanted to do and project to the person watching it, they succeeded 100%. Like
Agree.
they did exactly what they wanted to do. You don't see
Yeah.
some mixture of themes and everything. Everything is perfect the way they wanted to make it.
Yeah. I definitely agree. Now, this next question, Fran, it really, when I saw his reaction, I really was touched, because I was like, man, this really means a lot to this man, and him having this role really obviously means a lot to him, but it's also a proud achievement for him, not only him himself, but his people. And that question, Fran, because I'm sure you've seen the photo as well. I think Aquaman meant a lot to Jason Momoa personally when you think about his heritage. And what do you think about it?
I think that, I mean, we've never had like a Polynesian superhero, and
Mm-hmm.
some people, like when he was cast and everything, they were like, he should be blonde and everything and that stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
yeah,
I don't even care. Like, sincerely, I don't care what race he is. I saw Jason Momoa as Aquaman, and I was like, that's fucking amazing. Like, if
yeah,
you are a comic apologist that no, everything has to be exactly like the comics and blah blah blah, listen, shut up. Like, you
yeah,
see Jason Momoa as fucking Aquaman and you shit your pants. And
yeah,
that's what Snyder wanted with his movies, like more serious tone. And I think that it is important for people from that heritage
Mm-hmm.
I sincerely don't mind it. I'm not Polynesian, so I went to the cinema and I went crazy about the movie, but I didn't give the race thing that importance. But I surely understand that it is really important for that race and for what
Mm-hmm.
it means to it. Like maybe in the future, if it fits the director and the theme of the movie, they can change the race of the character. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
perfectly fine. You don't have to be exactly all the time about as the comics. If they put a Polynesian guy and he was like 5'11" and he was no beard and he looked skinny and everything, I would have been like, "Hey, listen, you can't do that." But if you take a guy that is 2 feet, like 2 meters tall, and
Mm-hmm.
bulked up and looks fucking scary, I'm 100% for it. Do you think
Yeah.
that's really important, the race thing?
Me, I mean, look, oh,
Dangerous
um,
territory.
yeah, yeah, especially with me. I've never really had a problem with character race swapping. I know I've gotten some very butthurt comments saying, "Well, I don't think that they should change the race of this character." I've had to, put them on silent or mute or whatever. But you know, I feel like as long as the actor or actress in certain cases does his or her job well, why should we give a fuck? I mean, because these are fictional characters. If you look at a movie like with all due respect to Sir Ridley Scott, if you look at a movie that's supposed to be based on history, if you believe in that type of thing, if you look at a movie like Exodus, Gods and Kings, I mean, you're talking about Hebrews and Egyptians. Egypt is in Africa. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
like Christian Bale. I like Aaron Paul. I like Sigourney Weaver. I like all them guys. Joel Edgerton. I like all them guys. But do they really look Hebrew? But again, looking at it from a different perspective, if it serves the movie, if the actor does his or her job, and me saying this is probably going to make people say, "Oh, you cooning," no, I'm not cooning. I'm just saying what I feel. If the actor does his or her job, then we really shouldn't give things like race as much uh, attention when it really isn't that big of an issue. Now, you know, look, this even goes back to Spider-Man. There was a rumor that Childish Gambino was gonna initially play Spider-Man in the Amazing Spider-Man series. That may have ruffled some feathers. I don't know how that would have worked, but I know Donald Glover is a talented individual, so I would have liked to have seen it. But on the flip side, you have a character like Miles Morales, who's African and half African, half Latino. So get somebody to play him and serve it, service the character, and you also give the audience a chance to see uh, a person of a different heritage. In this case, with Aquaman, Polynesian, represented on screen, and you give Polynesian kids somebody to look up to. And I think you touched on that earlier. That's what Zach wanted when he casted, Jason as Aquaman. And woo, I just said a mouthful.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing that it goes both ways. Like, I mean, obviously, if you're gonna have maybe Superman and you're gonna make him a black guy, that's strange. Like, there's nothing wrong about it, but the character, I don't think that it suits the character. But if you're gonna have someone that is like under the sea and everything, I mean, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing. Like, you don't have to convert characters into something that they are not. You can invent or use other characters. Like,
Yeah,
we need, like what you said. Like, Childish Gambino was gonna play Spider-Man. Listen, you have Miles Morales. Like,
yeah,
you don't have to change someone's race or gender if you have a character that suits you.
yeah.
That's the thing. Like, and something like they wanted to make James Bond a
Black.
black. I mean,
Yeah,
there's no problem, but what about you make another series that it's based on James Bond, and you make a new character that is relatable, and maybe he then becomes more famous than James Bond?
yeah.
Like, you can expand the acting, and you can expand the movies by making other characters that they haven't been created yet.
Hmm.
Like I want Superman to be black, and there's a black Superman. I don't actually remember his name, but he's from Krypton and he's black, and there's no problem. Like you don't have to change someone's race. You have other characters that suit what you are trying to say. Like I
Yeah.
understand that everyone gets so outraged and because this is a black guy and this is a white guy and this is Asian and he's
Yeah.
like what's it
Crazy.
matter? Like maybe his time he's gonna be Polynesian. Maybe Aquaman is gonna be Polynesian right now, and maybe in the future they make another Aquaman movie and he's white, and maybe in the future they make the Aqualads like the sons of Black Manta, and they are black, and that's like, what's the problem? Like everyone gives so much attention about race and everything, and I get that representation matters and everything, but
Hmm.
I don't see it such a big deal. Like they are fictional characters. If you wanted to make it white, make him white. If you want him to make it black, make him black. Like this is
Yeah.
not world moving politics that are really extremely important. It's they are comic movies. Like we really enjoy them, and they are amazing, and they inspire us, and they're really important. But in the end, they are movies. It's not worth fighting someone over them.
Exactly. Exactly. Moving on, brother Fran. Let me ask you this, and I kind of touched on this earlier. Patrick Wilson's arm was, in my opinion, superb. I really like Patrick Wilson and Watchmen. Really dug him in the Conjuring movies. He was also in a movie with I think her name's Ellen Page. I think it's called Hard Candy. That movie uh, definitely was a shocking film to say the very least. And seeing him now play the villain in Aquaman, that and I think he did a really superb job. Where does he rank upon your DCEU villains? And that includes Zod, Steppen. Well, we're not going to mention him. Zod, Enchantress, uh, Ares.
I think that Patrick Wilson is gonna be like top two. Like I can't decide between him and Sod because Sod is really good. Like he's a
Yeah,
great fucking villain. But
yeah,
Arm had some moments that were like, oh shit, it's about to go down. Like when
yeah.
you saw some scenes in the cinema, you're going like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing and what he wants. Like when they are in the final battle and he shouts the "Rise Atlantis," that was like, fuck, man. And when he's going to fight Arthur in the end of the film, when he jumps from the water and lands, and it's like slow motion and the cape is floating, and he gives that look to his back to see Arthur, that's like, fuck, man. Like, I'm not
Yeah, really.
homosexual, but Patrick Wilson is Patrick Wilson, man.
Yeah, he really had a towering presence in this movie that I was pretty surprised that he could pull off. But I shouldn't have been, since he's typically good as his good guy roles. Moving on, friend. Let me ask you this: what do you want to see in Aquaman 2 now that Arthur has taken his rightful place?
I think I want to see something. I mean, not like the theme of the Dark Knight, but I want to see something like he falling. Like I love it when heroes rise and then they are dropped to the bottom of their miserable life and then they rise again. You know when
Mm,
like I love it when the Dark Knight makes Batman go to the depths of hell, and everything is like so complicated and he can't get anything right, but in the end he
mm-hmm,
they go like to the top. Like in the third movie, they go and he rises again and he's all glorious and everything. I want Aquaman to do that. Like I want him to be defeated at the beginning of the film, like really bad, and then rise
mm-hmm,
again as a king. You know, I want to see that comic book panel that everyone shows in the timeline in Twitter, like when he shouts, "I am your king." I want something like that.
mm-hmm.
I mean, I want him to maybe get almost killed by Black Manta, and maybe he disappears, and in the end he comes back with his trident and his armor, shouting like "I am your king." something like that. Like I want him to be defeated and expand maybe a little bit more the story of Atlantis, because the background story felt like really interesting and they didn't
Hmm.
have time for it. What do you want to
Hmm.
see in Aquaman 2?
I basically want to see. Yeah, I'm that guy. I just want to see more Black Manta, man. I just want to see more Black Manta. I want to see. I want to see Aquaman and Black Manta have that pretty much kind of how you hinted at, but I want to see more. I want to see Black Manta challenge Aquaman to basically his limits. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
see. I just want to see that rivalry be the one of the best in the DCU. I know next year we'll have Wonder Woman and Cheetah. You know that could be big in itself, but I really want to in Aquaman too. I just want to see more Black Manta, and that's pretty much it. This next question, friend, and this is where the dislike button begins to get pounded on, and that's fine. Why do you think the critics and bloggers tried and failed miserably at tearing down Aquaman? And before you answer, friend, I want to touch on some things because when the movie was first getting its initial scores and reviews, it had a pretty solid, and I in fact say decent rating, almost at the 80s. And then as soon as Jason Momoa said, "Fuck yeah, I'd love to see it," in terms of that thing we're all waiting on, um, it seemed like the bad reviews and negative reviews just started coming out of nowhere. Aquaman is a Thor wannabe. Aquaman can't decide if it wants to be a light Marvel movie or a DC movie. James Wan doesn't know what he's doing, and so on and so forth. Why do you think this shit happened and they failed miserably?
I think that there's something like really wrong with critics back at the United States. Like I've seen some people in Rotten Tomatoes say about Ant-Man and the Wasp, literally. Like the whole critic was, I don't know what's going on, but it's fun and I enjoy it. 4.5 out of 5. And then the same guy goes to Aquaman and says like, oh no, you pretend to see people swimming and fake fish. 1.5 out of 5. And you're
What the hell?
are you a bot? Like, what's going on? Like,
A
and then
Disney bot?
there's people that saying so that, I mean, they are the same people. You don't have to be like general about it. There's some critics that say, well, Thor Ragnarok is fun, the plot is simple, but I like it. 5 out of 5. Aquaman looks like fake fish and they put Aquaman in jeans. 2 out of 5.
Yeah,
And you're
yeah,
like, are you stupid? Like, they are not
yeah. They are.
stupid, they are getting fucking money. Like, it's fucking obvious. Like,
Yeah,
there's no
that's that.
rational being that says Ant-Man. Like, the critic was because I don't know what's going on, but it's fun. 4.5 out of 5. And then Aquaman is like, messy movie, Thor wannabe. 1.5 out of 5. And you're like, Jesus man, or are you 12 or you are a bot? Like, there's no fucking explanation. How can you be
Yeah,
a professional critic and say, I don't know what's going on, but it's fun? Like, what's going on? Are you
I,
serious?
I don't know, man. It really is just disturbing how quickly it happens, and we're gonna get deeper in a little bit. I'm saving it for as closer to the finish line. This next question, friend. I really I really appreciated Arthur's relationship in the movie with both of his parents, his dad, and obviously Atlanta. What did you think about that?
Well, I actually was surprised. Like, I thought that their parents weren't gonna be like almost anything in the movie, and in the end, Atlanta and his father played a really big role. Like, I thought that
Yeah,
they were gonna be like the introduction, and Atlanta has to leave, and that's it. I sincerely thought that that shot when she leaves I was like, okay, this is like the last thing that we see of her in the movie, and it
Mm,
really surprised me for the good because both actors did a fantastic job, and the plot and the storyline was asking for it. You know, like some of the parts when they come to the that strange world with the dinosaurs and everything, and they see Queen Atlanta, like it fits the plot. It's not something you're like, oh, that's forced and everything. No, it makes it go like a bicycle all the way, and
mm,
what also surprised me was like the father role, like the lines he had
mm,
and the little time of screenplay that he had was like really good. I really enjoyed the whole theme of he going to the bay every morning and when she comes back and everything. Like they surprised me for in the good way.
yeah. Yeah, I really when Arthur is reunited with his mom due to the rocky relationship I've had with my mother, that scene really hit me kind of in an emotional way. I didn't exactly cry, but flat out cry, but it definitely hit me in an emotional way. And even like you said, that scene towards the end, where he finally, where Arthur's dad finally sees her again, and even his dad, yeah, his dad was really good in the movie, and I was glad they allowed Arthur to have time with both of them, and even Volko, who we'll talk about a little later on. Let me ask you this, and shout out to Nicole Kidman, she did a fantastic job. Let me ask you this, brother friend, what was your favorite moment in the movie?
I think that what I said earlier, like
Mm-hmm.
the thing when he goes in the cave and he goes and tries to fight the Karathen or something like that because it's not called the Kraken. There's something strange about that. And
Mm-hmm.
they start talking everything, and the music starts to hit in, and he grabs the trident, and this whole suit comes and fits him, and that man when he comes back, like the shot of the trident when he comes back, the score and everything, and he hits the ground with the trident, that was like pure comic orgasm. Like
Mm,
I went flat out dead in the cinema. It was like, this is it. And there were some other parts of the movie that I really enjoyed, like the final battle and things
mm.
like that. But the one thing that really stuck with me was Arthur coming out of the waterfall. Like, I am the fucking king. Like, I'm about to beat Orm's real bad.
Yeah. And shout out to brother Hydro, man. I know he's been looking forward to this movie for a while, and I'm just happy that the movie he's been looking forward to the most is just defying all expectations everywhere, despite the bitch ass critics. As for me, I think I really like that scene where they're in the trench with those monsters, like trying to come aboard the ship. I was like, wow, James Wan said he was gonna try and add a horror element in the movie, and he definitely did, because James Wan mostly is known for his horror movies. And I was just, throughout the movie, I was just looking. I was like, where's the horror? Where's the monsters? Where's the scary parts? And once he threw it in there, I was like, damn, I really like this scene. And yeah, that I think everybody loves that scene. Arthur getting his armor. That shit was badass. I don't know why somebody's turned on a truck. Um, I really like that opening. The early part of the film too, where Atlanta is in the house and she's defending her family. That scene was also really good as well. Moving on, brother friend, and this is where we're starting to rub some butt cheeks the wrong way. And this question is, why do you feel fanboys are using Aquaman's success as an opportunity to shit or diss on prior DCEU films? And you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know who you are talking about. Like, I think that they feel threatened, and I don't understand why. Like, that's my impression. Like, they think that if DC becomes successful, they're not gonna have any MCU movies or something like that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe they are just too moved for the fanatism and don't enjoy something because it has the DC logo on it, or you are
Mhm.
not mature enough to understand that you can like both type of movies and there's no problem with that. And I mean, that's the thing, that I think that they feel threatened, and I don't understand why. Like, Aquaman is gonna make a billion, so what? Best for us, the more money they make, the more movies they make.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't like DC because you don't like his characters or whatever, you don't have to shit on them. Like, I
Yeah.
like Marvel. There are some movies that I don't like, and all I say is like, well, I don't like this movie because it's overrated. That's it. I'm not like, oh, I hope it fails and they don't make another movie. And
Yeah.
like, it's just, man, live life. Like, if your biggest problem in your life is that Aquaman is making a lot of money, I want to be in your life. Like, if that's your bigger problem in life, or either you are 15 and you are not worrying about anything, or I don't know, you're a multimillionaire that doesn't worry about anything in life. Because
Yeah.
if you have the time to shit on movies all the time on Twitter, and that's what you do in your free time, you should really go see an specialist.
What? Say that again, please, friend. Say that again.
Hey,
I'm
listen,
sorry.
I'm a student psychology. You know, if I can make MCU fanboys a price, a discount.
Oh my God. But yeah, that's the truth, man. I it really just disturbs me to see all these fanboys just parade at the opportunity to just say, oh yeah, Aquaman is proof that the past movies suck, or Aquaman is what happens when you have a good director behind the board. And I'm just like, similar to what you said, like, why are you getting so offended that there are people that like a movie that you don't apparently don't like? That's my biggest thing. Why do you get so butthurt and up in arms when I say I like this movie, or I like this movie? I like the Ninja Turtles movie, but I don't like Ant-Man and the Wasp. What's wrong with you? And then you get hit with what's wrong with you, bro? Or something like that. That's always been my biggest thing. I don't know about everybody else, but yeah, that's been my biggest thing. Like, don't get mad at somebody else for liking something that you don't like. Suck it up, shut the fuck up, and move on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, let people enjoy what they like. Like, you can criticize, like we criticize, and that's fair, and there's nothing
Yeah,
wrong about it. But there's a difference between criticizing and hoping someone dies, and
yeah,
universe fails, and a lot of people go in employment because you don't like a character. Like, there's a
yeah,
difference.
yeah. That's very true, man. That's very true. Moving on, and we're getting to the last part of the video. And this really even should have been a question, but I just wanted to allow you an opportunity to divulge into it. And that is, that third and final act was epic. You agree?
Yeah, it fucking was. Like, it was like pure 30, 30, 40 minutes of pure spectacle. Like, I
Yeah,
didn't see anything wrong. I mean, I was like enjoying it like a little kid in the cinema.
Yeah.
It was like,
And it.
I don't know. Like, the moment he gets the suit and the trident, the movie goes all the way up. Like, it
Mhm.
goes to the top. It's 30 minutes of amazing VFX, amazing fights, amazing dialogue, amazing fucking Lord of the Rings kind of stuff battles.
Mhm.
It gets amazing. Like, and that's the thing, that they keep it up for like 30 minutes. That is pretty impressive. And I
Yeah.
don't know, man, the final battle and the movement and the score, like the bass, like the or
Mhm.
score when it goes like vroom, like really really I don't know, man. It's fucking amazing. Like, everything about the third act is fucking amazing. And seeing that the final shot when he goes all the way up, that looks like Man of Steel, and he jumps and he says like, I am Aquaman. Like,
Yeah.
that frame, I want that frame in a fucking museum, please. I'm gonna make a
let,
change that OLG.
let me ask you this, brother Fran. This initially wasn't part of the question, but let me ask you this. So, um, I definitely sense your excitement and nerdgasming at the third act of the film. So let me ask you this: is it safe to say that that Aquaman had your favorite third act of any of the DCU films, or is that still up for debate?
That's still up for debate. I'm not
Okay.
going full in on it. Like,
Okay.
it's really good, but it's different. Like, I can't put it upper or lower than any other third thought. Like, it's very good on his own, and I don't. I can't put it up or lower. I just can't. Like, VBS third act is fucking amazing,
Yeah.
and Man of Steel's third act is fucking amazing, and Wonder
Hmm.
Woman's third act is fucking amazing. So they're all different. I mean, I would say that it's like top three, like top
Okay.
three, obviously.
That brought about another question. Friend. Let me ask you this. You know, a lot of people most seemingly agree that Wonder Woman is a very good to great film, but I see a lot of individuals who seemingly think that the third act is not that good. And I always used to scratch my head when I see or hear this because I'm like, I go back over the third act. Shout out to Patty Jenkins, by the way. I go over the third act and I think about that specific line. When Diana's about to pretty much obliterate Ares, and she stops herself and she says, "You're wrong about them. They can be so much more." And she says she believes in the power of love. That line, those lines, that I was like, damn, that really hit me. I was like, damn, I want to. I'm invested, and I'm willing. I was already willing to, root for her as she stepped into the no man's land scene. But even then, I was like, wow, that's powerful. What is your take on Wonder Woman's third act, and then we'll go to the next question.
But I haven't seen the film like in a while, and I wanted to because I bought the Blu-ray, but I'm stupid and I haven't seen it. But I like it happened the same to me. Like, I've seen some people complain about the third act, and I don't really know what they are complaining about. Like,
Yeah.
I don't see any downs in the movie, and you're like, oh, this is lame or anything. I think that it was what it needed to be. Like, it fit perfectly with the theme of the whole film, what the film wanted to give you as the viewer, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I wouldn't have changed anything. Like, I don't
Okay.
see any problem with it. Like, the final
Oh,
message of love and everything, it may feel a little bit cheesy, but sometimes it's true. So the
yeah.
whole movie spins around those themes. So it's logical that the third act spins around those themes too. So I don't really see the problem.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I just always really I never understood why it got so much flack because I was like the whole movie pretty much revolves around Diana discovering what humanity is capable of, whether it's good or bad, and she pretty much finally sees that wow, there isn't just one evil in the world. There's multiple evils in the world, and I just really was. I really enjoy Wonder Woman, man. That movie is that movie. Shout out to Patty Jenkins. Uh, this next to final question, brother Fran, and we're about to close. What did you think about Willem Dafoe's Volko?
Well, I think that he was great. I think that he had the enough and perfect screenplay in the film. Like,
Mm-hmm.
all the time that he was in screen, he was like explaining some backstory or something like that. So it really fit in the plot because it made the plot easier to understand for some people that maybe are not that familiar with the comics or the character, and
Mm-hmm.
seeing him train Arthur as he was younger, and him discovering his powers, and he lying to him about his mother and everything. I think that he was
Mm-hmm.
like a really well written character, and I would have loved to see him in Justice League in the end,
Yeah.
like the photo that Snyder shared with Mera and Bulko, because that
Yeah.
fits perfectly into Aquaman. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that maybe when we see the Snyder Cut, the ending of Aquaman will fit much better with Bulko, like going to him and saying, I need you to come with me and everything, and he's like, no, I'm going home to see my dad. And then
Mm,
at the beginning of Aquaman is exactly that, like with the same. This next time they see each other, he's like, oh, old man, how have you been doing? And they hug and everything because he sees that Arthur is more invested in Atlantis than he was at the end of the Snyder Cut. So I think that overall he's a really good character, and the actor William Dafoe is an amazing actor, so he made it twice as better.
Mm, mm. Damn, I ain't got nothing else to say.
I ain't got nothing else to say. This is the final question, Fran. Man, thank you so much for stopping by and collaborating with me on this video, man. I really appreciate it. Let me ask you this: how many times have you seen Aquaman, and what format would you recommend to those who haven't seen it?
Well, I've seen it in digital normal in original version in English, and then I saw it in IMAX 3D, the first movie that I've seen in IMAX. And
Mm-hmm,
I mean, some people really enjoy 3D. I don't. I felt
mm-hmm,
like using 3D in an IMAX screen is a waste of screen. Like it all
mm-hmm,
feels smaller. So if you have a 2D IMAX theater near you, you have to watch it in that kind of screen because the amount of spectacle and the IMAX, it's amazing. Like it opens a lot in some of the scenes, and seeing all those animals and underwater scenes and everything in IMAX is fucking amazing. Like in digital, it's amazing. Well, in IMAX is twice fucking amazing. So I recommend
yeah.
everyone go see it in IMAX. Maybe it's a little bit like expensive, like 3 or 4 euros more here in Spain, but
Mm-hmm,
overall the experience is worth it. For what you get,
mm.
it's fucking worth it.
Yeah, I completely. That's when I saw it the first day. I was like, "Yeah, I'm seeing this in IMAX," and I was not at all disappointed. So I'm in complete agreement. Go see if you haven't seen it in IMAX, you owe it to yourself. Go see it in IMAX. The visuals in the movie is definitely that good. And ladies and gentlemen, that'll be it for this video. You all go subscribe to Rand's channel. I will leave a link to his channel in the description box as always. Thank you all so much once again for tuning in. And as always, we'll see you all next time.
Bye bye.